Hi everyone, I'm going to continue the series of the awesome Daf Yomi today. We are on Daf Masechet today. That's page number 48 of Tractate Sotah today. And tomorrow we are actually going to finish the Talmud of this tractate. And Bezrat Hashem, I will be doing a siyum today. So very, very interesting. It's packed with full of agadata, these last few pages of the Talmud. A lot of different stories, especially of things that occurred during the culmination of the first Bet HaMikdash, things that we lost, such as the Shamir stone and many of the different things. So it actually relates over how if one was not keeping certain mitzvot in those categories where they didn't keep it, they suffered tremendously within regards to, for example, Masechet or the first tithes and the other things. But one thing that it could bring famine upon the world, which is related over in the Talmud today, is that if, God forbid, someone is living in a vicinity where there might be a lot of harlotry or witchcraft taking place, sorcery, in those areas that can lead to desolation and famine, and it's a major, major problem. So one could, the cynic could also say, let's just say that, people are living in the red light district, there's a high, a good economy sometimes and all those different things, but no, it causes a lot of problem, not just famine within regards to a physical point of view, but also from a spiritual point of view, especially in those areas where there's all these different things taking place. How many people really are happy? How high is the depression rate in these places? How high are marriage problems in these rates? Harmonious relationships in those places? I can pretty much tell you, I would guess, it is at an extremely low rate. And one thing that it does bring, it relates over in the Talmud today, is that it can bring a lot of famine to the world, to that area, and a lot of, let's just say, curse into that area, the opposite of brachot that takes place. It brings dull relationships, it brings a dull point of mind, it causes physical weakness, all those different things. And unfortunately, we live in a day and age where there's so much of this going in your face, even in certain areas you go to. If you're especially around in California, Las Vegas, all these places, or Holland, whatever it might be, there could be a lot of these things going on. Also witchcraft, that also can ruin the brain and all those things and take someone away from Hashem. That is one thing these things do. And that's what's related in Talmud. That is the biggest cause of total desolation, of total famine, is these terrible transgressions that unfortunately so many people in the modern world could fall within regards to. And that's why we've got to choose where we're living in, where we're surrounding ourselves with good people, with good influences and all those things. And it's no surprise, sometimes people say that, look at the religious communities all across the world. They have certain barriers, certain restrictions on many things. But many of these things that are in place in many of these areas are well founded, because we could see if you don't put barriers and checkpoints upon a person, what kind of desolation in their brain it can lead to, in their actions it can lead to, and in the whole makom. And not just that, when one is maybe seeped in bad things, or whatever it might be, they can influence others to do these things. Avera goret avera. A sin causes more sins that's taking place. However, if one is steeping away from these things, putting themselves in the kedusha within regards to Torah, keeping mitzvot, doing acts of kindness, and all those great, fantastic things, mitzvah, goret mitzvah, leads to other great things. And it's no surprise that many of the great sages, especially in modern era, they had the sharpest brains, even close to 100 years old. We saw one of the greatest rabbis, Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky and Rabbi Ovadia Yosef in the last decade, who passed away at such old ages. However, they still had the sharpest brains, even at the time of their passing. And that's how important it is to steep ourselves with Torah, with mitzvot, and all those things, and stay away from any harlotry that could take place. In those vicinities, we've got to stay away from the nightclubs. The nightclub is not the place where we will meet, people will meet their partners, potentially. It's got to be done through a more intelligent, a more kosher form of view, somewhere where people have more respect for themselves and all those things. And that's what the Talmud is rating over. And also witchcraft. People want to see magic. People want to see all these different things. One's got to stay away from these things. We hear many of the stories, I believe. I even heard from Rabbi Akiva Tatz once,